feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can't fake it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging day? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can't fake it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. Hey now, cannonball, 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 cannonball.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing Protocar 2 Endurance League for Tier 1 on the PC Season 4 Round 7 here at the Indianapolis Road Course. My name is King-Kodiak and I'm your commentator throughout this evening's race. We have got 19 drivers. We did have 20 earlier on, but someone has had a connection problem already, it seems. So, what are we going to face? Well, it's a pretty short lap. You see, with Lucas getting a 109.4 straight away at the top of the field. Warm tyre currently second in the Toyota 110.3, leading the LMP ones, of which we have got 7, I believe, with us. Welcome to those joining me in the chat. Welcome to you. What else have we got? We have only got 3 LMP2s. Unfortunately, our LMP2 field is a little bit diminished. Zenny leading the way with those 115 at 102. With our GTEs, we have 7 of those. Big one, we have 9 LMP1s. 2 of them have yet to set a time. Indeed, Stevie. That's unfortunately true. And leading our GTEs currently is Smolder in his rolling Corvette. Now, M-Power has been tipped at leading the way in the GTEs. Although it's order, although 22-2, getting that M6 onto currently second position behind the Corvette of Smolder. Indeed. We only have 19 drivers with us, unfortunately, but we will do the best with what we have got. Endless. Sticking that Audi on the top spot once again, 103.579. Interesting, he's not wearing the TX3 tag anymore. It's probably Zenny that's just flown over the line. It was indeed setting the new top time for LMP2, 1:14.959. That's one of the Corvettes coming over the line for GTE. Smolder, it was. Who have we got with us then? Endless at the top of the list, as mentioned. Lucas, 1094. Where is he? There he is. Just trying to figure out which guy he was in that particular shot. 1094, 8 tenths behind the top spot. Warm Tyre bringing his Toyota back on field. His teammate Yorkie yet to get a time on the board, but still plenty of time, 8.5 minutes to do something about it. That's a pretty busy pit lane. Someone testing their light flash button. Llama Louis has managed to get himself a one-place grid penalty. I'm assuming it's a one-place. It is. For speeding in the pit lane. Somebody didn't get their pit lane speed limits wrong, and we've just lost somebody. Oh, goodness. Oh, well spotted there, Smoking Puppy. Yorkie joining in the wrong car. Has had to drop out. Oh, we have got a fourth. Oh no, Yorkie is actually in. Yorkie originally was in an LMP2, was he? Well, he's certainly running around in his beloved Toyota now. Currently 6th with 1:12.5. We have got WhatsApp. Astrid Aslani has joined us in the LMP2 category, making 4 cars for that class. Still can't identify who it was we had out here. We did have 20 right at the beginning of the broadcast. Oh, he's gone again. So sadly, Astrid Aslani having some difficulty. And hopefully he will be able to resolve that. He has about 5 minutes with which to resolve it. We have indeed lost one of our GTEs. Not very good at identifying who, judging by the list. There is Andrex coming out in 4th. Once again, not particularly confident with the outright pace of the Aston. There's Crop, his Aston teammate, just half a second behind him on the timing boards. 1:22.320 and 1:22.920. Perfectly 6 tenths separating the two Aston runners. Oh dear, that's a tad twitchy. So hopefully he'll be able to get that back under control. Beppo, I haven't commented on Der Beppo in a while in that roaring Corvette. Good to see him back in the fold. 1:24.4 at the tail of the GTE field at the moment. He is coming around turn 14 to set a time or to start a time run. We'll see when he crosses the line. What is his status? Okay, so that was a time lapse, tad slower than his previous best. We'll see if he's able to improve. He's a little way off the pace at the moment in the GTE field. Finds himself about 3 seconds off the top of M-Power, who is just coming out of the pit, also in at a very distinctive blue Corvette. 1:21.142. My God, 9 tenths quicker than Smolder last time around. M-Power was rather very much at the top of the time trial charts. Oh, good spot there, Smoking Puppy. It's Carbon Cutter that's having trouble. As Astrid Aslani returns, hopefully he'll be able to stay with us. Carbon Cutter's only got another couple of minutes to be able to sort out whatever his problem is. So hopefully WhatsApp can stay with us. Whatever issue he seems to be having, let's hope he can resolve it. Endless back out there looking to improve on his already impressive pole time. 1:08.579 in the Audi. He is coming around. Where is he? He's at turn 12, I think. No, he's not. Nowhere near it. It's turn 4 and 5. 4, 5 and 6. He's just come through. Light on, indicating he's on a time lap, which is interesting, is that they have to turn the lights off. It's extremely dark, as you can see. Aha! Carbon Cutter has returned and is coming out. Now, Carbon Cutter is coming out on track in the black Ford, but Astrid Aslani is not. That's hopefully something he can resolve, because we do need more people. So if we ride on board with Endless, of course he's got his lights off, and that's what he has to face. He kind of has to hope that there's an apex there when he turns into it. Let's ride on board then with our current pole sitter. Can he improve on 1:08.579? Bang! It deploys that monstrous curve that the LMP1H cars have. He's hit the top of the limit very, very quickly, catching up to one of the Astons. N2, turn 1. So he doesn't really get a chance to sweep over to the right-hand side to get that turn in for 2. A long sweeping 3. And down a couple of gears for 4. It's either Krop or Andrex directly ahead. Oh, he's caught him in a really awkward time through that particular chicane. Through 5 and 6, then onto the straight, down to 7. And he's giving it a wiggle. That wasn't really anyone's fault. That was just the way it was. Now, was that Krop or was that Andrex? It was Andrex, but Andrex had nowhere to go. He could not... You're not required to jump onto the grass to get out of the way of someone. There is Carbon Cutter. There is just about enough light to... oh, that's a cone. There he goes, now getting his lights on to indicate he's on a time lap. And Astrid Aslani is underway. Hoorah, we finally have a 4th LMP2. So 9 LMP1Hs, 7 GTEs and 4 LMP2s in tonight's race. See if he's able to improve. Lucas then now in second. So it's Audi 1-2, Toyota 3-4. There's Yorkie, who was in second, is now demoted with that 109.3. He's coming through 5 and 6. So he's pretty much at the point that Endless binned the lap. So let's continue the time lap then. The onboard lap with Yorkie. Now he's backed off as well. There's an unusual commentator curse. He's probably just making sure he has enough space. If you look at the map, the next car down the road is quite a few turns ahead. So he's just making sure he has enough time without tripping over somebody, as Endless did. The long turn 11 just goes onto the banking, then onto the brakes. Now that part there does catch people out there, and kind of, you know, if you go into normal Indy mode, so to speak, you can just fly through the cones. It invalidates your lap, doesn't do you any good. Right, let's try this again. Let us see what the mighty Yorkie can do. Can he improve? 109.341, 500ths of a second ahead of his teammate Warm Tyres. A very consistent pace between our Toyota pair. Through 1. Into 2. Now, Yorkie was very tight to the apex of 1 to give himself a decent exit through 2. Now into 4. Oh, the tail gets a little bit loose there. Right over the curves for 5 and 6. You could do that pretty much flat to get the speedo on. Now, flash of the lights to indicate that he's on a timed lap. And that's... Oh, that's... I think that might have been Colonel McCoy. It was. Colonel McCoy was exceedingly slow to get out of Yorkie's way. Yorkie's still up on his time though, but I would almost certainly have lost time as a result of Colonel McCoy not getting out of the way. But this time, could still get Yorkie second if he manages to keep hold of that 2 tenths increase. But depending on what his curve status is, he's got enough fuel for another lap. Oh, he found 6 tenths, gets him up to second, 108.7. Just 1 and a bit tenths behind Endless. And yep, that's Yorkie's day done. He's got nothing left to find. Endless coming out for a practice run. He's not going to make it to the end unless he is actually on his time lap already, which is certainly possible. He left the pit early enough. It's one of the Astons getting out of the way. Wow, that Audi looks quick. He's not going to... Well, he might beat the flag actually. He's determined. Very, very determined. A little bit tight to beat the flag, but he'll do it. Endless then. Crosses the line to start his final time lap of the night. And there we go. That's how tight it was. I'm not sure that Aston behind him managed to beat the flag. But, keep an eye for any changes going on in our respective classes. Our pole sitters are, well, our class leaders are Endless, Zenny, and Empower. Oh, and Endless is up. Not even a tenth. Half a tenth or so. Gets past the yellow Corvette. That's Smolder. And that's Andrex. Oh, that's, that collected Endless, unfortunately. That was just plain unlucky. Absolutely unlucky. Andrex pushing hard to try and improve on his 4th and just rolls backwards into the wall. So he was down no higher than 4th in class. Now 122.320. Who's still out there? Mama Louie is cruising at that particular moment. Nunu, as is he. He will start 6th, 110.8. Spudbusters cross the line. 1:12.9. He will start in 8th. May the pace be with you. Like it, Fael. Like it. Crop is pressing on. He's coming through that last turn. Can he improve? 1:22.401 in the second Aston. Answer is... I don't know. Is the honest answer? Because he was the last man to cross the line. And so Endless leads the way with Yorkie 2, Lucas 3, Warmtie 4, Lama Louie with that penalty 5th, Nunu 6th, Garky 7. Oh, it was Garky, as I've been reminded. Spudbuster 8 and Brazantic 9. Didn't really see Brazantic do his run. Zenny, Colonel McCoy and Joey are our 3 LMP2s. 4 LMP2s because, of course, Astrid didn't settle time. Empower 1, Smolder 2, Marauder 3, Andrex 4. Crop didn't improve with that run in 5th. Carbon Cutter 6th. And Beppo rounds out our GTE field. So he did close in on the certainly on the tail of Carbon Cutter. He was a little way off to start with, but he now was able to close in pace-wise to the back of the field. We have lost one already, unfortunately, and it's actually one of our LMP2s. Oh, we've lost Zenny. Oh my, we've lost Zenny, our LMP2 leader. Has dropped from the session and will not be able to resume because we are now in the race session. Oh my, what on earth happened to Zenny? I wonder. I immediately assumed that would be WhatsApp, Astrid Aslani. But no, it was not. Oh dear, oh dear. Not a good start then. He was hoping to wrap up the championship in the LMP2 class today. Oh, Zenny, just literally mentioning the fact that we've lost you. A game crash in the transition to the race. Denies Zenny. So 19 cars then will take the start. So this is the 2-minute countdown. Any setup changes our drivers wish to make, now is the time to do it. And then we will do the traditional rolling start. I would imagine so, Zenny, as you've been pretty bulletproof in the LMP2 category all season long. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the championship does still belong to you, sir. And point for pole, which was enough. Well, you certainly did. I can confirm you did indeed get the class lead ahead of Colonel McCoy, Joey, and Astrid Aslani. So good job there, Zenny. He did what he needed to do and thought, no, that's fine. Don't need a race. I'm off. Okay. In standard rolling start fashion, no one moves off the initial lights, and Endless is going to lead the field away as he is our pole sitter at the front of the field. He will lead everybody around the track at 80 miles an hour, 120 kilometers an hour there or thereabouts, until they get around about turn 10 or thereabouts. And then the 2x2 line will be reformed. The speed is dropped to 50 miles an hour, 80 kilometers an hour. To which the start of the race will be signified with Endless when he gets back round to the start-finish line with everybody in 2x2 formation. Now the LMP1s are sprinting away from the LMP2s and the GTEs just to spread the field out a little bit, because the three classes will separate on the road. Bring up the map, you can see there is a distinct gap between LMP1, LMP2 and GTE. And it's now weaving through turn 10 and 11. 2 hours including our formation. And there we go, exactly as I said, coming through 10-11. The 2x2 line is reformed. Oh, that's, I think it was Brazantic. It was a little bit off the back of the pack, so he'll catch up and then get in line. There he is. So Endless 1, Yorkie 2, Lucas 3, Warm Tire 4. So Audi, Toyota, then Nunu, Lama Louie, Spudbuster, Zgarki, and Brazantic of our LMP1s. Now that Endless has led the field onto the start-finish straight, It is up to him as to when he floors it to signify the beginning of the race. And there he goes. We are racing here at the Indianapolis road course. A bit of a three-wide going on there. The LMP2s, you can see, one is now 3 of them, are going to be doing the same procedure. Looks like everybody pretty much behaving themselves coming into turn 1 in the LMP1s. Long way to go. Generally, people are fairly careful, but there's always that one lapse of concentration when the field is so heavily condensed. Everyone got through okay on the LMP1s, the LMP2s. There being, of course, a reduced grid of them. They make it through okay. And now our GTEs do the same trick. Screaming on down to turn 1. Is anybody going to make a mistake? No, the GTEs. Oh, that was very close. Andrews getting up to 3rd. Nearly taking the nose of Marauder. That was very close. Well, it was very close from this angle. Whether it actually was as close as it seemed to us, only they will know. Crops at a terrible start right the way down there in 6th. Oh, that's Carbon Cutter. He's had a spin coming through turn 4. And has collected Beppo as well in the Corvette. But otherwise, the GTEs are okay. Endless leads Yorkie, leads Lucas, leads Warm Tyre. They are in their starting order as they have already completed the first racing lap. Then here they all come, streaming on down towards turn 1. Such an amazing sight, particularly with the GTEs, because a number of them have yellow headlights. As they come storming through the darkness towards that first turn. How are our LMP2 is doing? Wow, Colonel McCoy has absolutely sprinted away from Joey and from WhatsApp, Astrid Aslani. Joey and Astrid in a very close battle. Oh, Joey's deep. Joey's gone very deep and handed that over to... Nope, that's a Honda. That is indeed the screaming Nissan engine. I wonder if that was a Honda for a moment, but look at M-Power in the Corvette. Yes, your eyes don't deceive you. He is called BMW M-Power, driving a Corvette. But he is really broken away. 1.1 seconds faster than Smolder. As Andrex and Marauder in very short order as well. The M6 chasing the Aston. Andrex doing his best to hang on to the back of Smolder, but Andrex was pretty convinced that the Corvettes were going to have the rule of the roost here today. Look at that, and now Lucas is on the back of Yorkie. So our top 3 in the LMP1s, very close together. And our field didn't take long to spread out. Oh, okay, that's Endless with a problem. He's lost the lead. Whether he cut somewhere. Oh, that's the problem. He's got a problem of some description. Oh, he's just driving the car too hard. Oh, it's a lag. It's a big lag moment there for Endless. So he's dropped from 1st to 6th in the LMP1s. Skarky and Brezanchik. And, oh, Spud's had a problem as well. Spudbuster now down to last in class. Oh, Endless. It's all unravelled in the blink of an eye. What on earth happened there? Keep downloads for later. It was almost like someone had just suddenly sapped his internet away. But that now leaves Yorkie to lead the way. Lucas in 2nd. But it's only a 2nd separating the Toyota and the Audi. And there's Warm Tyre in 3rd. So the Toyota's in for a decent result if the race were to finish now. Wow, what a strange turnaround there for the LMP1s. Lucas is really honing in on that Toyota. He's not wanting to let him go. Remains on the tail of that. Oh, that was Yorkie that had gone deep this time into turn 4. And Lucas did not hang around in capitalising on that. Warm Tyre is right there as well. There he is. One mistake. It seems to be catching a few people out this track so far. Very early on. A bit of a surprise there as our LMP1s are now beginning to catch. And what on earth? Oh, we've lost Lucas. Well, from being in the lead to losing the lead, and now Lucas is gone. That's and Endless is having another trouble. Endless is having a lot of trouble. We could be losing another LMP. Oh, we've lost another. Who did we just lose there? We lost one of our GTEs. I don't know which of the GTEs we've just lost. I'm looking at the list there. Oh, it's Carbon Cutter that's gone. So, oh dear. It's going horribly wrong for several people. We're already down to 17. Our 2 Toyotas, though. And there is Beppo. That's now got a lot of company. Endless has brought his car in, and he's got himself a penalty as well. Oh, a speeding in the pit lane penalty for the pole sitter. And there he is. What could have been quite a dominant performance has just totally backfired. We haven't even done 10 minutes, and we've lost 3 cars. So at this rate, we should be done in about an hour. Wow, one tire is not backing down on Yorkie at all. No team orders going on there. Through to complete another lap then for our lead Toyotas. They're now working their way through. And this is... Look at that. Is that Andrex behind Marauder? It is. Oh, that was close. Yorkie jumping onto the inside. Oh no, Carbon. What a shame. I had to retire due to your FPS dropping out. A great shame. Endless is now out, but he is stone dead last and a full lap behind the rest of the NMP1s. Oh, well, the top NMP1s. Lama Louie is indeed in 3rd. Oh wow, he had to really throw that Audi to make that turn with an Aston in the middle. And Andrex is back up into 3rd in class, back ahead of Marauder. Spud's got some company. He's got Skarky right ahead of him. The 2 Porsches. And Brzezinski's not too far behind. Is Skarky in a Porsche? He is. So that's our 3 Porsches, 5, 6 and 7. Endless then now fights his way through it, well, carving his way through the remaining GTEs. You won't find that too difficult, but of course whatever problem he's had could well continue to haunt. And look at how busy it is. That's again Andrex and Marauder in a very intense battle so early on, and Endless are going to fly on the inside of those, as that's not Smolder and Empower ahead. That's our race lead. No, it's not our race lead, I beg your pardon. Is that Nunu? It is. That's 3rd place Nunu and Lama Louie. It was previously 3rd, so he has already lost. Oh, Lama got very twitchy there. Coming through turn 3. There he goes. Several people we've seen with that kind of... That's exactly what Endless did very early on. Well. And Yorkie now has broken away from Warm Tyre. That's now 2 and a bit seconds between those guys. So bearing in mind the Warm Tyre was just 2 tenths behind his teammate early on. I would imagine that's probably a mistake of some description that's caused that. 3 Porsches are still fairly close together, particularly Skarky and Spudbuster. Spud now ahead of Skarky. That is for 5th, or battle for 5th position. Oh, you saw Skarky had to think about it. Even though we may have a light grid, that doesn't mean the battling is going to be any less intense. I think that's Crop. Yeah, that is, because Andrex... There's a Crop actually slowed down there and stuck really heavily to the inside line. You can do that. And there goes Andrex again on Marauder. Actually, let's watch from Skarky, because this could get very interesting as he dives on the inside of turn 1 to get that position from Spud. And now he's right behind the battling Aston and M6 of Andrex and Marauder, as the rest of our field literally has spread out. And there he goes, as Andrex either jumping out of the way or just kind of getting that sequence of corners a little bit wrong. And through goes Skarky. Spud in very, very short succession right with him. Oh, Andrex has lost time. Crop is now closing in on Andrex. That just lost a little bit of time, nothing too much. Oh, that would be Brzezinski right behind the Aston. How is Endless doing? He's still behind Nunu. Nunu now up to third. In the Audi. Oh, very, very twitchy. The Audi seem to be very, very loose. But continues nonetheless. Endless on the biggest recovery drive of his life. We'll see how he does. 1:10.2 is the fastest car on track by a mile. One tyre closing back in on... that's Astrid Aslani. Oh, and one tyre's gone too deep. Now Astrid would be allowed to overtake again, but it's fairly pointless because the power difference between the LMP1 and 2s would just simply mean that one tyre would fly past him again. This is precisely what he did, but of course that one mistake there cost one tyre a full second on Yorkie there. Because Yorkie hasn't had a good run through the back markers. He did a 1:13.1, 1:12.7 for one tyre. Where's Nunu? He's just coming over the line. Well, came over the line with a 1:11.7. There is Endless behind him with a 1:12 dead. But even though Endless has had that early problem, he's had to come into the pits. That does not at all mean that his day is done. He just has to, just keep pounding out the laps. So we've seen several people have several different types of issues, either connection related or a mistake. That's a Marauder, Andrex and Krop in relatively short succession. M6 and then the pair of Astons. Well, their lap time was 23.4. Oh, look at that! Marauder and Andrex to the thousandths of a second, identical lap times. 1:23.480. And Krop was only 2/10 exact behind them. So he is hanging on in there. Beppo is struggling a bit for pace, but I suspect there may be a little bit of lack of practice there for Beppo. They're pressing on anyway in the Corvette. We're on 25.2 last time around. Oh, was that Yorkie and Wartside coming up behind them? Yep. Yorkie just getting slightly caught out, coming through turns 2 and 3. It's going to help Warnside gain on him a little. Oh, Warnside did not want to be stuck behind that Corvette before getting to that particular sequence of corners. Let's see how our GTEs are doing. Generally, I look at the GTEs when kind of looking for action. And Smolder has been caught. Oh, Smolder lost 10 seconds last time around. So what happened there, I wonder? He's had a huge mistake somewhere. He's now got the M6 of Marauder up in third. There goes Colonel McCoy in that distinctive orange LMP2. Lead in the class by quite a comfortable margin. Leads by about 30 seconds over Astrid Aslani. Yeah, that M6. Right on the tail of the Corvette now. Battle of the growling cars, essentially. Mind you, the Aston hasn't had growls. It's only really the Porsche that screams. Or the Ferrari, I guess, but we don't have any Ferraris on our field today. New personal best in Sector 1 then for Marauder. You can see the delta time appear. That's based on their best. The beautiful yellow lights streaming on down in the background. You can see Andrex and Krop are fairly close together with... That's our leading pair of Toyo just coming through again. Yeah, this is what it looks like from them. And they're coming through the field. Oh, Wartside getting very out of shape through 9 and 10. Or certainly 8 and 9. That's the battle for second. Smolder and Marauder. It's already ahead. Now, it's not up to the GTEs. It's not up to the slower class to jump out of the way of the quick class. Again, for those that aren't entirely familiar with how the multi-class endurance races are run here at AOR, it is up to the faster class to work their way past the slower one. So therefore, when the slower class are coming up to be lapped, they just need to hold their line and not so much mind their own business, but don't jump out of the way. What the faster class needs is a predictable line that the GTEs are going to take. So if they jump out of the way, that's exactly what creates an element of unpredictability for the faster class. Marauder coming through at turn 3 into 4. into 5 and 6 on the straight. Lovely run then from the Corvette. It should give Smolder enough breathing room to not have to worry too much about Marauder. Only 2 battles going on at the moment, and that's one up front. Walkie? I'm now mixed up Yorkie and Warm Tyre. Walk Tyre now. And it's the only one with that penalty for unfortunately speeding in the pit lane. Our LMP2 is very, very much spread out. Just having a look at the timings. Colonel McCoy leads Astrid Aslani by 28 seconds, if my maths doesn't fail me. And Joey behind Astrid Aslani by a further 17 seconds. Which, as we've already seen, can completely change in the blink of an eye. Over the line then. Oh wow, look at that. That's Nunu coming through, I think. That's not Lama Lou behind, that's actually Endless. Whoa! Okay. I didn't expect that. I don't think anybody rather expected that. That was very much a big move there from Endless to jump past those GTEs. But also to unlap himself from Nunu, which of course he's allowed to do, but as long as he does not impede the car he's unlapped himself from. If you're able to get past and run, which I don't think is going to be any question that Endless has the pace to do, then you're absolutely perfectly entitled to unlap yourself. If unlapping yourself would just put you straight back into the clutches of the person you're unlapping yourself from, unless of course they've stuck it in the wall or some such, it's fairly pointless to do. Endless certainly has the pace. Oh, and that's a big twitchy moment there for Nunu. And there you go, you can visibly see the gap between Endless and Nunu's up to 6-7 tenths or so. Endless continues, that was a 1:10.6. Even though it's slower than his best, it's still the quickest on track. There is our GTE leader. M-Power leads the way by 12 seconds now. We saw M-Power Smolder fairly close early on, but then Smolder made a big mistake, lost about 30 seconds. 30 seconds? 10 seconds rather, in a single lap. There goes Nunu. Marauder still with Smolder, so second and third in the GTE is quite well contested. Looks like Andrex has fallen off of this battle, although he gained about just under a tenth on it. He is 4 seconds behind this battle now. Andrex has broken free of his teammate by about 3 seconds. Yeah, 3.2 between the two Astons. And Beppo, rather minding his own business, 16 seconds behind. Crop. Let's keep an eye on the Corvette and M6 battle for second in the GTEs. We will check in with everybody else as the race progresses. We tend to do it in our endurance races. Yes, Scott, I'm afraid you did. But we understand you were delayed. You had work, if I have heard that correctly. So a great shame we didn't see you on track. But you had informed... You could inform the necessary parties, so through no fault of your own, you had to miss that particular race. It looks like Endless is catching up with Colonel McCoy. The Audi should dispatch of the Nissan-powered DGA, which of course he does. Flies off us, but look at the gap between Endless and Nunu now. Here comes Nunu. I'm kind of guessing what the gap is, but that's several seconds. Oh wow, that's a good 4-5 seconds now between Nunu and Endless. And Headless? Try again. Endless had to do it, and that's... Who's that that's just gone past? That's not one... No, it's not one time. One wasn't it? Who on earth has Endless just gone past? Oh, Skarky's in. There's plenty of fuel on. Doesn't look like there's any damage on the car, so that's an interesting one. Hello, Berserker. It's a shame that we didn't have you on the field, but Zenny perfectly summed up what's happened so far. We've lost quite a few. Oh, Warm Tyre's getting back on Yorkie's case as Warm Tyre fights his way past what I assume is Spud. No, wrong one. It must be Brzancic then. It is. Bar 3 Porsches. Now, anyone within the same class that's getting blue flagged must obey that blue flag in the standard manner. You must pull off the racing line and slow down. Ooh, Marauder is back on Smolder's case again. The Corvette and the M6 once again in close quarters. Now, they're probably not going to race each other too hard. And interestingly, Andrex took another 4/10 out of the gap that time, but the gap has overall increased to now 5.5 seconds. And Marauder is closing in. Lost a couple of tenths last time around, but is getting very close to that Corvette. In the background, you can just see Andrex in the Aston. So they won't battle each other too hard too soon. They don't want to make themselves, give themselves a problem, throw themselves into the dust by pushing too hard too quickly. They have got over an hour and a half to go. So plenty of racing to do. As our field will spread out, we will be kind of looking at how well our competitors are getting through the field as Wartime jumps on the inside of one of the Astons. As Skarky is making his way back through the LMP2s after his unusually early pit stop, I feel. Who's difficult to tell sometimes. The one closest to us is race leader Yorkie. And there is Warm Tyre. Warm Tyre's a good lady, normally joins us in the chat. Oh, that's getting close. Oh, look at that, both Smolder and Marauder, 122.8 last time around, and M-Power up in front of these two by another 13 seconds, was 122.7. Enders is on the back of Brzancic, that is for 7th place now. Look how busy it is for Endless. Oh, that's uncomfortably close to the back of the Aston. Now it's catching up to Astrid. With the LMP1 ahead is Brzancic, that is for position. Oh, and that's a lot of opposite lock. Rather what threw Endless off into the dust before. He's a minute 12 behind race leader Yorkie, which is still a lap down at the moment, but he is pressing on. He's still the fastest man out there. And there we go, just absolutely blast past Brzancic like he stood still. Brzancic probably didn't fight that one, didn't particularly need to really, as Brzancic has actually lost a good few seconds, a 1:16 for Brzancic that time. Such is the nature of multi-class racing. Who's Enders catching up to now? That'll be Andrex, the second of the Astons. He'll jump past him fairly easily, I would have thought. There he goes. And that's why the onus is on the faster class to make their way past the slower one, because the faster class has a considerably more downforce. And the LMP2s and LMP1s can outgrip the GTEs by miles, and the LMP1s can outgrip the LMP2 by a significant amount. So it's easier for the LMP1s, although the faster class, to plan their way past the slower ones, if the slower ones leave their path quite predictable. If they're committing to the pass and suddenly the slower class jumps into their way, which we've seen happen many, many times, that will end the charge of the faster car as Enders and jumps past what I assume then is Skarky. Yep, it wasn't Spudbuster as I thought it might have been. He's 1.5 seconds between Spud and Endless now. There is that M6 Corvette battle for second in the GTEs. M-Power getting another 4/10 to himself on top of Smolder. Continuing along their merry way, nicely navigated through the traffic. As we enter what could be a fairly long tactical phase. I always find the views from these cars very, very narrow, which is odd because it's not like they need to see up. They're not likely to see any flying cars, not unless someone's having an exceedingly bad day. But it always just feels very, they're staring out of a postbox. Audi of Endless closing in on the Porsche of Spudbuster. Through turn 13, around the last turn. It was there that Endless dispatched quite comprehensively of Brezantic, who's now 9 seconds behind this pair. So Brezantic is struggling a bit, maybe being caught out in traffic. But Endless is a man on a mission, although a 1:10.4 from Yorkie up front is solidifying his lead. And Endless rather going to jump on the inside on the Porsche of Spudbuster, whether Spud intentionally left the door open or whether he was a little bit too wide coming through those early turns. Endless didn't hang around and flew past, but he's got 37 seconds to close down to Lama Louie. Bear in mind, Lama Louie had that one place penalty. Oh, Endless has pushed too hard. Gone off the road at turn 7. And there he is. Oh, and Spud has also made a mistake, so he's left the door open again. And Endless retakes that 5th place from the Porsche. There is M-Power leading 15 seconds now, the GT field. Oh, I do love that Corvette roar, and I've no bones about admitting that. And now, M-Power, whilst he did jump off the racing line, he made his intended move very, very obvious by staying hard over to the inside line with a wide track then to return to the racing line. So anyone coming past him would have very clearly seen in advance what he was planning to do. So Endless now with some clear air, a lot of clear air, can now get the hammer down to do something about that gap ahead of him to Lama Louie. Yorkie leads by over 9.5 seconds now to his teammate Warren Tyler. The two Toyotas running 1 and 2 after the troubles of our Audis. We lost Lucas. We lost Zenny. Who's the other one? I've completely forgotten. Oh, Carbon Cutter was the other one that we lost in the opening stages, and the first half an hour is done. 90 more minutes remain for our competitors to do the best they can. Yorkie is absolutely flying. He's leaving nothing to chance, interestingly. He doesn't want to just rely on the time. And again, when you haven't got anybody around you, when you just, you and the clock, particularly in an endurance setting like this, that can actually be more difficult. When you've got someone near you have essentially a rolling guide on how, where you should be and how you should be doing, whereas there's no one near you. You're just basically relying on your own wits. You've got your own timings, of course. But it's very easy to kind of lull yourself into a false sense of security. Another 110 for Yorkie, 110.9 this time. A 110.1 for Endless last time. Good God, that is incredibly quick. Oh, what might have been. He's still a lap down from the leader, still 35 seconds behind, or 34 seconds behind Lama Louie. What's the time there? 1:11.6. My good lady is giving me a sandwich. Now, ironically, my good lady's distracted me with a sandwich several times before, but I'm not racing. Oh, wonderful. I've got crisps, I've got a sandwich, and I've got a... And a toffee apple? I haven't seen a toffee apple since I was a kid.
I know. Like, Ben's still downstairs.
I know. My good lady's looking after me well. I haven't seen... Well, they're called candy apples in America, but same thing. I haven't seen these since I was a kid. Hello, Boomer Squad, and hello to those that have joined the stream. Do apologise that we do have a lower than usual turnout, and the fact that our entire field has spread out. But I will do my best to keep you entertained for the remaining hour and a half. We have got 110-3 from Yorkie last time. I'm keeping a very keen eye on two cars in particular. As you can see from the graphics there, no one is in immediate battle. So to give a summary for anyone joining us a little bit late. We started with 20. Sadly, our lead LMP2 competitor Zenny, his game decided he didn't want to play anymore when changing over to the race. We lost Lucas from the front of the LMP1s. And the carbon cutter sadly had frame rate problems, so bowed out gracefully. Endless had what seemed to be some kind of technical issue early on, was leading the race quite comfortably, and then found himself last in class and then pitted for a very long time. Is currently a lap down, but he's absolutely flying. With now, he's closed down to under 30 seconds from Lama Lulu in the last few laps. Gaining 2 seconds alone in the previous lap. .11.5 this time. Oh, now something's happened up front. That's what's happened. Yorkie's had a problem. He's lost 6 seconds in this lap and he's near the beginning of it. That gap has halved between himself and his teammate. So he's been caught out somewhere in the traffic. And one tyre in second position. 23 seconds clear of Nunu. Has closed in a big chunk. He was really pushing his teammate early on, but finds now 6 seconds between the pair of them. Nunu minding his own business, now in third position. Screams up to the back of one of the Astons. Oh, well, that's a very unlucky place to catch a slower car, but Nunu opting for the much safer option just to follow the Aston through the twisty bits of turn 7 through to 10. He could have risked an outside manoeuvre, but there's no point. There's too much race left, essentially. Oops, Nunu getting a little twitchy there. You know, if it was near the end of the race, maybe, but with so much race left, there's no point making silly mistakes. And look at the lap time there from Yorkie, 1:17.6. So just highlights how bad that lap went for him. Lama Louie in fourth place. 1:11.8, decent lap last time. 18 seconds behind Nunu, but has got Endless. Oh, Endless has lost a little bit of time. Has lost 7 seconds. So again, he's made a mistake somewhere or been caught out. But we've seen a few times where Endless is just pushing so hard, and he's made a few mistakes in that sector 1 several times in this race. So he's trying his best to make his way through the field, but may well be undoing his hard work by pushing too hard. Also, our Audis are going to need to come into the pits soon for their first fuel stop. Generally, it's 3 of those they need. But Toyotas can just about get away with 2 if they're careful. Uh-oh. Yorkie got stuck behind the Corvette there. That, I think, is Beppo. Empower behind him, yep. So Empower is about to lap Beppos, is about to lap one of his fellow GTEs. And that gap's decreased. Oh, that's close! One tyre was really closing hard on the back of Beppo there. One tyre able to slip through on the inside of turn 7 without too much repercussion, but cost them a little bit of time, as generally it will do when they're fighting their way through the traffic. .118.7 for Endless. He's already lost 2 seconds on this lap as well. Well, he is down 2 seconds. That could be traffic as well. In 6th we have Spudbuster in one of our Porsches. He's fairly lonely there. 17 seconds behind Endless. And 12 ahead of Brzezinski, the next Porsche in line. And Zgarki, 135, not too bad on that last time. He pitted very early for some reason. We don't really know why he pitted so early. He's a bit out of sync when it comes to strategy with the rest of the Porsches. He's at the tail end of the LMP1s. Leading our LMP2. We unfortunately lost Zenny, as previously mentioned early on. Here's Conor McCoy in the orange LMP2. Astrid Aslani, otherwise known as WhatsApp, is 45 seconds behind Garki, who himself is 25 seconds behind Conor McCoy. So, over a minute behind his class leader is Astrid Aslani. Joey is 40 seconds behind. Yep, flash of the lights from the LMP2. It's the correct use of the LMP, of the LMPs, of the flashing of the lights. You are letting the person ahead of you know you are coming past. You are the faster car. Get out of the way. There's Joey. Again, just working his way through the traffic, trying to keep it on the black stuff. Leading the GTEs, has been all race long, is BMW M-Power in the Corvette. As Astrid just comes past him. Car behind is Beppo, not Smolder. Both those two running the yellow Corvettes. 15.5 seconds thereabouts between Smolder and M-Power. 4.8 between Smolder and Marauder. Marauder in the M6. Andrex in the Aston. There you just see him at the back of the shop. Is 9 seconds down the road. Was really pushing and swapping positions with Marauder early on, but has fallen by the wayside a little bit. Crop is at 22 seconds further down the road in the second Aston. And Beppo, who is kind of matching Crop's pace there or thereabouts, is 22.5 seconds behind him though, but still going in the other yellow Corvette. Back up front, Warren Tyre is beginning to get back into his pace. He's 4/10 faster than Warren Tyre last time around. 3.84 seconds thereabouts separates the two Toyotas. So a potential battle there, a 1:10.2 by this man. But once again, Endless back on the pace, but he just keeps pushing it too hard. Settle into the rhythm, plenty of time to go. That's alright, less than a tenth behind your best, so he's pushing hard but keeping the pace on the black stuff, which is where it really needs to be. Oh, and there he goes again. He got out of shape coming into turn 7, and once the LMPs start to go a bit beyond straight, they just don't come back. They just completely let go. I was very quickly recovered from Endless, but that's how much time it's cost him. Yet again, the vast majority of that time he's closed in on Lama. He's just basically thrown it away in tyre smoke. This will be a race to forget for Endless, unfortunately. I think it's fair to say. I'm sure he doesn't need particularly reminding of that. He will not thank me for highlighting that, I'm sure. 1:11 zeros by both Yorkie and Warren Tyre up front. I'm going to bring up the championship positions. See where we stand with our respective categories. Pretty confident Zenny has already secured the LMP2 championship. So congratulations to you, sir. Where are we standings? Unfortunately, whilst I'm clicking away from the actual game itself, it does stutter a little bit, so I do apologise about that. So Endless is currently 4th in the standings. He's won twice. He won at Fuji and at Silverstone. Was second in the opening round at Monza. Would have easily won that had he not just slightly miscalculated his fuel and needed one more lap for the fuel. There's DNF 3 times, unfortunately. I don't think, although, in fact, I'm almost certain they're all connection related. But the top 5 of our NMP1s are only separated by 10 points. Berserker leads away on 39, Lucas on 35, neither are here. One Time is third on 32, Endless is fourth on 31, and Yorkie is fifth on 29. So the LMP1s are going to completely shuffle around. LMP2s, so we only have a few of them. Colonel McCoy looking set to put another win, chalk up another win in the series. Astrid Aslani, who is fourth in the championship. He's taken about 3 races. He DNF'd in Monza, but he's been second in the other 2 races, which were at Daytona, I think. Yeah, Daytona and at Nürburgring. And Joey is in 5th place with a 4th, a 6th and a 3rd. That's set to match his best here today. The GTE's Empower, who joined the series at round 5, which was Spa, has won both rounds since then. Has jumped up to 5th position in the GTEs. And looks like he's going to continue his winning ways. Smolder leads the championship at the moment with 2 seconds, a 3rd, a 4th and 2 5ths. So really great consistency there by Smolder. Marauder is 4th in the championship. So slightly less consistent, but has been on the podium twice and looks set to do so again. Andrex is only 4 points off of Smolder. He didn't finish in Daytona. That could well hurt him because he won the class at Fuji, 2nd at Monza, 3rd at Silverstone, and then 2 4ths. So again, looks to continue the 4th. May the 4th be with you and all that. Grop has only just joined the championship, so has no results as yet, so is at the tail end. And Beppo was 6th in Fuji and 6th at Spa, who has 14 points to his name and is out in 14th. No, indeed, Smoking Puppy. Oh, wow, Yorkie's had a big trouble somewhere because now he's got his teammate for company. Whilst I was looking at the championship results, Joey is in. Fairly light on the fuel. The NP2 comes to a halt. 5.2 litres left for Astrid Aslani, 4 for Colonel McCoy, so he should be in this time. Yeah, our Audis are about the same. So we should be seeing... Ooh, that's close. Joey now getting back underway. Our GTEs did need the single pit stop, and I doubt this is going to be any different. How are our Toyotas doing? We've got 10 litres on board. How about our Porsches? About the same. Full tank of fuel for Joey. One Cyclone's another couple of tents in on his teammate. Oh, steady, whichever Aston that is. You need to jump off the road. Keeping a very keen eye again. And just once again getting back on the pace. But every time I say that, when I watch him intently, unfortunately pushes it a little bit too hard. Wow, Joey's still in the pits. No, he's back on the road again. Of course, I should have realised that because he's registered a lap. So he is back underway. Oh, wow. And there we go. The 2 Toyotas now close to one another as Lama Louie. Oh, we had less than 2 litres in the tank. So the first Audi to bring his car in gives Endless the 4th. But of course, he will have to come in fairly soon. But he did, of course, have that early stop, so he's got a little bit more fuel than the other Audis around, and suddenly we have a lead battle. Yorkie, that 13-1, lost 1.4 seconds on Warm Tyre. So, once again, our two Toyotas are scrapping for the lead. Very true, Smoking Puppy. The pit lane here is exceedingly long. You're kind of looking at, well, a good minute and a bit, really, of lost time as Louis is underway and Colonel McCoy is in the lead and the P2. Where's Endless? He is coming through 13 now. I doubt he'll be in just yet as Astrid Aslani comes in. Our two Toyotas still scrapping at the front. Who's going to come in first? Who's going to blink first of the two Toyotas? Yorkie has very slightly more fuel on board for some reason. And Warm Tyre 4 cents slower than Yorkie that time. It leads me to believe that Warm Tyre would need to come in first. Nunu is in from third place. Again, sub 2 litres left in the tank. Colonel McCoy's going again as Astrid Aslani is still stationary. This takes quite a while to get the tyres done if they choose to, and the fuel tank refilled. Well, Toyota's not coming in yet. It won't be long. Less than 6 litres for one tyre. 1,000th of a second quicker than his teammate. That's consistent. Endless now up to third. 109! We have our first 109 on the board. Of course it would be Endless. Of course it would be. Now to third. I would imagine he'll come in this time around. But dear God, a man possessed is Endless at the moment. He still finds himself a lap behind the leaders. There's only the Toyotas on the lead lap for the LMP1s. That's of course warped very much so because of pit stops, I grant you. That's the Warm Tyre. He works his way past Colonel McCoy. No sign of the pit stops from those two. What's Endless going to do? Is he going to risk another lap? Yep, very much so. No, it's not so much a risk. 3 litres will fairly comfortably get you around at full crank. Now these cars can go amazingly far on just ERS power alone. 110.9, so again the fastest car on track. Actually are there at the end of the straight as Endless comes onto the straight. That's where they are in relation to each other physical track position wise. Warm Tyre's lost 9/10 last time and is already over a second down on his best this time. Someone jumping out of Yorkie's way as well. Oh dear! And that was a considerable amount of turning right into a left-hander. The Toyotas go on, but Warm Tyre's he's going to have to come in this time, surely. That's going to make and Endless continues. Oh my goodness, that's cutting it very fine. Yorkie's not much better. Of course, if they come in at the same time, one of them is going to have to stack. I wonder whether the Toyotas have kind of created a problem for themselves there. Because surely Warm Tyre is going to come in first. Otherwise, he's going to have to crawl around the lap. There might be a lap in the lead at the moment. But only there's a litre difference. It's going to have to make the difference for Yorkie. in front of Yorkie. I didn't see, just as I cut to on board, they went away. Surely One Tire's got to come in this time. He doesn't. Endless with one oh, and again Endless! A frustration must be obscene for Endless at the moment. He does indeed come in with less than a litre on board. Oh, you make a very good point there, Smoky Puppy. I'm thinking Formula 1 terms, where they'd have to stack. Of course they don't. They don't share pit boxes. Thank you for that, Smoky Puppy. I had completely forgotten that. It's not like I've got 500 hours in this game. I get most of its commentary, I got you, but I've done enough of this game to know something like that. Whoopsie! Oh, One Tire! That car will not drift. So Endless finally brings that car to rest for his first stop. Well, actually, his second stop, beg your pardon. Where's Nunu, interestingly? Nunu is... Oh! That's an unusual place to park, Nunu. He's had a major problem on the exit of the final turn and was parked on the start-finish line. On the start-finish straight, sorry. And we've got some penalties on the board. And both of the Toyotas coming at the same time. Yorkie running over One Tire's pit crew. Well, they kind of phase in and out. Oh, they're not doing the phasing thing today, interestingly. Endless is back on the road as our race leaders come to rest. So what penalties have we got? 18 seconds for Endless now. 10 seconds speeding in the pit lane for WhatsApp and a 1 second track limit penalty for Spud. Who's going to be first out of the box? Rocking away on the jacks for One Tire. There goes One Tire. Surely Yorkie's going to get away. Yorkie's not moving yet. So, I mean, 37 miles an hour. So about 50 kilometres, I think it is, or something like that. And there goes Yorkie. That's almost a bit of a tease, isn't it? Haven't moved, haven't moved. No, I'm jumping out in front of you. Flash of the lights, I'm still here, pal. But here we'll get underway as Llama Louie. He did have company with Spudbuster, but Spud's come in. Why is WhatsApp in again? He's not long been in. He's got a full tank, nearly. One would assume he's hit something. Yeah. A clever tactic by Yorkie to try and slow One Tire's pit slop down by running over his pit crew. Rizanchik is in with only a couple of litres left in the tank, and Spud as well. Two Porsches bring their cars in, and Spud on... Oh, Spud's already stationary. I was thinking, why is he coming with 62 litres on board? So Endless then comes out right behind Llama Louie in 5th place. I think Louie's been in, hasn't he? Yeah, Louie's been in. Hello, Austin. Good to see you. One of our incredible American commentators. Oh, goodness me, Endless just dumps the battery there. Absolutely catapults past Llama Louie, but I don't know that Louie put up any real fight there. Exactly, we've all been seeing the lap times from Endless. As we are approaching the halfway stage in the race. We have hung on to our 17 runners since our early departees. Yorkie continues to lead the race. That's a fair few LMP1s right in his way. Oh no, that's an LMP2 there, beg your pardon. That'll be Joey. So he's just come past, who, due to WhatsApp's problems, is now in second in class. That's one of the Audis that Yorkie is catching up to. Not Endless, is it? No. Endless then easily dispatching of Lama Louie. Oh, a little cautious coming through at turn 12. On to do another lap. Let's see what his lap time is. He's our fastest lap holder is Endless. That's why I'm keeping an eye on him. He has less than 10 seconds again to get back on the podium, considering that he's been a lap down all race. He's nearly back in a podium position. Hello Jens, good to see you. And again, hello to all that are still with us in this broadcast. Very much appreciated. If I can get my words out. And Beppo's now got his name on the penalty board. What's he done? A 1 second penalty for Beppo. Let's check in with our GTEs. Let's see how they're doing. Unsurprisingly, Empower is still leading the way. 16.3 ahead of Smolder, who leads Marauder by 13 seconds. Hendricks in the lead. Aston is 9 seconds or so behind Marauder. Now Joey's actually behind Hendricks position-wise by about 10 seconds, but the next GTE in line is his teammate Crop. That's about... oh wow, that's nearly 50 seconds between Hendricks and Crop. And 14.7 between Crop and Beppo. How our GTEs fall. For LMP2s, Conor McCoy very comfortably in the lead by nearly 3 minutes over just over 2 minutes, as Crop brings his car in. He's the first of the GTEs to pit with less than 10 litres on board. So our GTEs will be coming in right on the halfway mark, or they'll be coming in within the next 10 or so laps to get their tanks filled up. Crop coming in bang on halfway with some litres in hand. Endless has already closed in. Oh no, Endless has made a mistake and is back behind Lama Louie. And is back ahead of Lama Louie. Oh no, sorry, wrong one. There's a lot of LMPs down there. That's Lama Louie. Hello, Rose Carlock. Of course you can have some cockpit views. There is the one from Endless chasing Lama Louie. As good a cockpit view to have at this point as any. So once again, do appreciate you guys sticking with us through the stream. Endless clouted the apex of turn 7. It doesn't look like Lama Louie's Lama Louie's just kind of minding his own business, knowing Endless is going to blast past. There he goes. Lama Louie again could have announced on Discord that he was going to do that. Who's WhatsApp caught up to? Ah, that's an LMP2 battle. That's Joey and Astrid Aslani. Astrid, having coming into the pits again, is caught up to Joey. Oh, Joey's a little bit gone too deep through turns 12 and 13. Now side by side, or almost side by side, coming onto the start finish straight. Then WhatsApp going to take the inside line, screaming on down towards turn 1. Who's going to be the last of the day breakers? It's going to be Astrid Aslani, I think. Jumps over the apex of turn 1, and that is back into second position for the red LMP2. Again, Joey knew that one was done. Knew he didn't have an answer to that, and didn't fight it too hard. Respectful driving there from Joey, and on he goes. Louis is back behind Endless, and stuck behind a Corvette for good measure. Nunu's made a mistake somewhere, that 116 last time, so 6 seconds between Endless and Nunu now. That's Marauder in the Stars and Stripes. The aptly liveried M6. That's Marauder jumping off the road, getting into the pits. 2 litres left in the M6's tank. I would imagine the rest of them are all pretty much going to stream in. 5 left in M-Power. 3 litres for Smolder. And that's Andrex bringing the Aston in. 3 litres left for you. Beppo with Crop already having been in, so 5 litres for the Corvette. And of course Crop with a full tank. Charges on his merry way. Of course. I thought Beppo was close to somebody then. I think the interface was lying to me. Oh, a 110.4 from Worn Tyre. He's suddenly getting the toe down again. Still only a couple of seconds behind Yorkie. They've been, for a while, they were about 10 seconds apart, and then for about 15 or so laps before the pit stops, they got very close to each other, and they've been close ever since. That's closer than they were post-pit stop, although 110.5 from Yorkie makes sure he stays ahead of his teammate. 112.1 from Endless, but he still gains 7 tenths on Nunu. That's now 3 seconds. 2.8 seconds now between the two Addies. There they are in that shot with an Aston right in the middle. That's got to be Crop, because Andrex is in the pits, along with Marauder, Smolder and M-Power. So pretty much everybody else, except for Beppo. I think Beppo's the only... Oh, he's in. There we go. 5 of the 6 GTEs coming in at the same time. Or around about that kind of time. But Endless, 110.4. Wow. Endless has had the pace. He's just had a very shocking level of inconsistency today. It is very, very unlike him. Andres has come out of the pits in 3rd. He was actually a good 10 seconds down from Marauder. And Marauder is now behind him. Oh dear. Maybe the M6 had some damage at the end. Oh, he was not happy about that. That's Astrid Aslani that's gone past. But you're not really allowed to flash your lights in that manner. You're only supposed to flash your lights when you're trying to lap someone. Oh, a 110.1. Stunning lap time there from Worn Tyres. Gained 3 tenths on Yorkie. This is getting very, very fascinating on what our front runners are going to do. And already Endless, he's back in 3rd. He's cleared Nunu. There they are. And again, Nunu, he was nearly 3 seconds slower than Endless on that last lap. So there may well have been an element of Nunu just letting Endless go. As they carry on their merry way. .125 behind Yorkie, with less than an hour to go. Oh, that's a lot of curb coming through turn 7. Worn Tyres either had a stonking lap here, or Worn Tyres had a bad one, or both. Well, both in the 110s. 110.5 for Yorkie, 110.8 for Worn Tyre. But now we're going to start to see the faster laps come out. The kind of tactical phase isn't so much run, but it's going to be coming to an end. You know, people not taking the risks earlier on. The need to take the risks, should they want to, or should they have to, I should say, is now going to present itself as Garkey brings himself in. 14 litres in the tank. He had plenty of laps still to do, so I would imagine that's damage. You don't have to flash at your pit crew. They are there. Could have been frustration, I suppose. Oh, that's why he's caught up with Yorkie. One tyre now within a second. He got stuck behind Marauder. Again, not Marauder's fault. It's just unlucky timing. There goes Joey in the LMP2s. This is going to be... Now Yorkie's going to have to battle to keep his teammate behind. Oh, that's an unlucky moment to catch the Aston. Oh, there might be words said about that. That's very risky. But Worn Tyre is fighting for the lead. And surely now, any ERS battery he's got, he wants to try and deploy it. Yorkie's having to defend. There's no team orders, as we mentioned before, between the two Toyotas. You can see how much time Yorkie lost, over 2 seconds last time around, but Worn Tyre's lost that this time, but equally so's Yorkie ahead of him. Yorkie's got very unlucky in the traffic, and that again is all part of endurance racing, or multi-class endurance racing I should say, as they bear down on Astrid Aslani once again over the start finish line, within a tenth of each other, a tenth of a second last time around. One time I did wonder whether you were going to go around Astrid Aslani then. And now I've officially run out of sandwich. As that is Colonel McCoy. They've just gone past the two leaders. I'm now going to attack my toffee apple. If you've never had a toffee apple, you are missing out. There's an alarming amount of toffee on the stick. But there we go, we will deal with that. And there we go, as I look away for a moment, Worn Tyre now finds himself over 1.5 seconds behind Yorkie. Marauder and Andrex are back in battle again. I suspect the Aston we saw having both leaders box him either side was indeed Andrex as opposed to Crop. Bet you that's Endless. It is 1:10.5 from Endless, but he still has a full minute to close down if he wants to get back into the lead battle, but you can't take it away from Endless. Whilst he's had quite a few spins in this race, he's had incredible pace. And as far as I can see, he's the only man that's gone into the 109s. So whilst we continue to watch Yorkie and Worn Tyre, I am trying to fathom a way of holding my toffee apple without getting myself absolutely covered in toffee. Again, I make absolutely no apology for the fact that I'm eating on stream, which does sound highly unprofessional, and I wholeheartedly admit that it is. But it is an endurance race, and ain't no endurance race is going to be high octane for all 2 hours of it. Look away from these two, as Marauder and Andrex are back with one another again. The Aston once again finds himself having to defend from the M6. Good exit from turn 10 for Andrex. Keeps the N6's bay, and as you can see from the last lap times, they do have similar pace. 23.2, 23.3. Oh, that is glorious. Nunu's in. Oh dear. That's a definite problem. 27 litres in. He pitted, as far as I know, kind of in time with the rest of the Audis. That's going to put him really... He's going to have to pit an additional time. He won't have enough fuel to get to the end of the race. Whereas I don't reckon he will. So something's gone wrong for Nunu there in the latter half of this race. Order and Andrex again in close battle. This is for the final podium spot in the GTEs. I wouldn't think Marauder has got damage on that car still. Bear in mind, all the GTEs have been through the pits. If he has had damage, he hasn't had it repaired, which is another thing to bear in mind. 1:10.9 from Yorkie up front. 1:16.7 yet again. Endless having a problem and costing himself time. Oh, wow. He gunned it a little too early out of turn 1. The back really stepped out. 9/10 Marauders just gained. Or gained last time around on Andrex for 1:22.7. That's Empower pace there from Andrex in the Aston. So he's giving himself back another half a second. He wants to hang on to that third place. And absolutely fair play. His title rival is Smolder, who's another 18 seconds down the road, so he would have to pretty much hope for Smolder to hit a problem. Unless he can just maintain that mid-22 kind of pace all race long to try and close in that gap to Smolder. Still another round to go after this one. And Andrex, well, I think a lot of our drivers are very, very experienced in various classes. There goes the Porsche. Spud? Nope. Brzezinski? No, that's Garki then. It could only be those three. It was indeed Garki. Toffee fell off my apple. There's another one of the Porsches. That looked quite close there. Looks like the Porsche nearly actually hit the in front of the M6. I wonder whether Endless has started to settle for second. He's 15 seconds ahead of Lama. He's over a lap now from the leaders with 45 minutes to go. Every time he's pushed very hard, he's been blindingly quick, but has ended up, scraping the wall there, but off into the dust. Oh, Marauder's got himself a penalty. As we were talking about Endless. 1 second penalty for Marauder, so nothing he couldn't overcome. Something he would have to, and he's lost a little bit of time on Andrex. Now 1.5 seconds between the Aston and the M6 for that last podium spot. Mind you, there's me saying Endless has backed off. He's still putting in at 1:10.9. But I believe only our top three have got sub 1:11. And only Endless has got sub 1:10. Oh, that could have been awkward. That's a blue flag Porsche there. And that jumped back to the racing line with Endless steaming down on him. Here comes Marauder again. 25.5 last time around. Ouch, he lost 2.3 seconds, but he's still... There's Andrex, so he's still in striking range. So whatever issue befell Marauder last time, Andrex seems to have fallen foul to it this time. 22.6 from Empower there. He's actually quicker than Joey in the LMP2s. Or was that last lap around? So, less than 45 minutes remain of this particular race. The closest battle we have position-wise is this one. This is for the last podium spot in the GTE class. Worn Tyre's not too far off his leader, although off his teammate, who is leading the race. That's now 2.5 seconds. Both of them getting a 12, 1:12.6, 1:12.5 on the board. Endless is a full lap behind. Where is he? There he is. So what he's done this time. He's still pressing on though. 1 minute I think he's settled for second, and then the next minute he goes and sets a blinder, and there you go, 1:10.2. Or just under 1:10.3. Marauder gained a second on Andrex last time around and is very much with him again. The battle resumes then between Andrex and Marauder. That's the roar of the Aston and the M6. Lovely, lovely noises. If I'd have to allocate someone as driver of the day, I think it would be Endless. As whilst Yorkie looks set to take the win, now I've said that, he's going to end up at the wall and he'll hate me for it. Warntire's done a great job chasing him, but the recovery drive and the raw pace of Endless has been absolutely astounding. Despite the mistakes that Endless has made, he's still managed to claw his way back up into third. And keeping whilst we're watching this battle with Marauder and Andrex, oh wow, the tail of that Aston getting very sideways, and again 118.1, so Endless once again just losing the time he's gained. Oh, Marauder gained another 3/10 on Andrex. Last time around, is the M6 going to try something at the end of this straight into turn 7? Into the slipstream. There's the other one, that's Crop. Crop is a lap down on these two. Marauder has a look at the inside but doesn't commit to the move. But that does force Andrex into a slightly awkward position. But it's not really fast enough to capitalise on a wide run through 7. Oh, I think Andrex may have hit the gas a little early. Coming out at turn 10. Cameraman. And Marauder has a look at the inside, coming into 12, but just has the door slammed on him by Andrex. There's one of the Audis coming up behind. Marauder under the rear wing of the Aston. Decent run through 14 for the pair of them. There goes the Audi. Surely that is going to be his slipstream move for Andrex, but Andrex had a very good drive and some slipstream help from those ahead. Wow, Marauder had no answer to that in the slightest. Amazing straight line pace by the Aston, but nearly impact between the two. Again, Marauder another 2/10 quicker than Andrex, now catching up to the second Aston of Crop, and again very close. Now, Crop will have to get out of the way, and I suspect he'll do it on this straight. Well, to be fair, he's not holding up his teammate, but unfortunately they could really catch him in this twisty bit, which is not what either of them will want. And there is Crop. He did indeed jump out of the way before he became a chicane within a chicane, really. And no disrespect meant, but if you're going to catch someone who was a bit slower than you, you don't want to be doing it there. Now back up to turn 12. That's given Andrex a bit more breathing space. Back through turn 14. Seen the straight line pace of the Aston. He's got no one to slipstream off of this time. Unfortunately, I can't do an iRacing and do the backwards camera from the Aston, so stick with the onboard from Marauder. We could go with that one for something a bit different. And again, that straight line speed of the Aston is just enough to keep the M6 behind. Andrex, a 10th quicker than Marauder, but it's not really for anything. One of the Porsches coming up behind then. We'll stay with this battle as up front. It's now about 3 seconds between Yorkie and Warntyre. Warntyre losing half a second, indeed nearly 7/10 on the race leader at the moment. Andrex went to the middle, looked like he made the defensive commitment, but didn't particularly need to. Oh, and Marauder so close to the Aston, that is really going to play on Andrex's mind. Oh, and I wonder whether he's going to dive on the inside at 10. Opted not to go for it. And continues piling the pressure. Every point is crucial because all three. Well, the LMP2 slightly less so, but certainly the LMP1 and GTE the championship classes are still very, very close. So every point is still very crucial. Once again, half a second between them. And the Aston pulls away. And Slipstream's doing nothing for the M6 in the slightest. Warntire's had a problem. He's fallen to nearly 6 seconds behind Yorkie. I'm sorry for the long pauses, but this toffee apple's delicious. Seriously, people, if you find one in the shop, get one. Unless you don't like toffee. Or apples. Oh, Marauder! Oh! He had a fair run. Now, it's interesting that the straight line speed advantage that Andrex seems to have on the start-finish straight isn't mirrored there. Or Andrex just didn't have a good run through 4, 5 and 6. There goes Conor McCoy. Oh, and Andrex left the door wide open on the inside, but Marauder couldn't quite get the traction where he needed it. Oh, that's a nudge there on Marauder's tail from whichever one of the Audis that was. Wow. One of the Toyotas flying through with the Audi bouncing off the wall. It gets very, very busy, even for the GTEs. Oh, Andrex! That's that one gone. Oh no, still side by side with the M6. Spudbuster's brought his car in. But that one's going to go to the M6. Oh wow, Andrex isn't letting that go. Marauder. Oh no, side by side into the... Oh no, there'll be words said about that. There will definitely be words said about that, I'd have thought. Side by side coming into that chicane was never going to work. Marauder probably will back off a bit. Marauder already has a track limits penalty. Who was at fault for that one? Andrex, as we saw, had that bad run through turn 1. Kept them side by side. Interesting, Spudbuster's brought his car in, but then that'll be for fuel. Brzancic, well, Brzancic's got 31 litres, but they're on very different strategies. They've come into the pits at very different times, so can't compare Porsche to Porsche for fuel. And already Marauder is back on Andrex's case. So that battle is not resolved at all. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that one had some discussion said about it. I now have toffee on my hands. I'm not sorry at all, because damn, that tasted nice. Less than 35 minutes to go. Oh, wow. Marauder's so close, but couldn't use the extra pace he needed. Let's get on board with the M6 again. Surely this time. Yet again, that slipstream's doing nothing for the M6 whatsoever. The Aston does seem to have enough. I mean, I'm told that the Aston is pretty quick in comparatively to the GTEs. The Aston is pretty handy in a straight line, and it seems to have just enough over the M6 to keep it behind. But Marauder is doing everything he possibly can to get past the Aston, and Andrex doing a brilliant job of keeping him behind. That battle up front is pretty much disappeared now, as it's now 6 seconds thereabouts between our two Toyota front runners. You two separated by not even 0.3 of a second. Onto the start finish straight again. And once again, Andrex opening up that lead. That's a lead, that gap rather. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? No incident this time. Andrex keeping the car nice and stable. Let's go bumper cam. Let's do something a little different this time. Oh, Andrex possibly a little deep. Coming through turn 4. Through the chicane of 5 and 6, but yet again, Marauder needs to be right on top of Andrex at this point. There goes an Audi. I did wonder whether the Audi is just going to time that slightly awkwardly, but didn't seem to be the case. when you've been following someone for lap on lap on lap on lap, especially if the times begin to run out, oh, this could be an opportunity. Andrex deep from turn 10, now side by side through 11. And it's Marauder that's jumped through. And still side by side is Andrex. Can have a look on the inside of 13. No, he's conceded that one. Finally, Marauder has climbed back up into third. It's taken a long time. Andrex did a good job of defending that incident, of course, coming through the chicane on the back straight is likely to be discussed, I'd have thought. But Andrex coming back at the M6. Marauder feeling the need to defend. They're side by side coming into turn 1. And Marauder having to take the tighter line. But Andrex is not done with this fight yet. That is, I think that's the red LMP2, that's Astrid Aslani. It is indeed behind. But Marauder's built up 0.4 of a second between himself and the Aston as they come onto the straight. That is likely to be enough, but even still, Marauder positioning himself in a defensive position. And he didn't want to leave that to chance. Certainly the BMW has the advantage in the bends as Lama Louis brings his car in with 7 litres on board. So not a great deal left in the Audi. There goes Astrid Aslani. Flash the lights as well to the M6. Andrex is keeping himself in contention though. He's not letting the M6 run away. And Marauder can't just rest on his laurels. He can't just assume that he's got the pace advantage. But equally, Andrex is going to have to work for that. And that's exactly what you didn't see on board with the M6. Andrex now trying to jump to the inside. The M6 trying to keep the defensive line. That's going to be impact. The M6 slowed down much more than Andrex was expecting that. And now there was a slight flash of the lights there from Marauder. And there was actually sort of a flash of light exchange essentially. Now is Andrex? Yeah, Andrex letting him back through. They're kind of having a conflab on, no, you go ahead, no, you go ahead. And finally the Aston of Andrex has gone into the lead. They were trying to give each other the spot there, that's why they were so slow. Well, Marauder feeling that the fault was not Andrex's perhaps, because there was an LMP in the middle of that battle, bear in mind. So that could have caused Marauder to get completely out of shape. Because it didn't look like Andrex particularly missed his braking point. It looked like but Andrex was very hard over to the right-hand side. Either way, they've decided amongst themselves. Bear in mind, they are in Discord as well, so they do have vocal chat as well. And Andrex is coming in the pits. Now, that I didn't expect. That Andrex feels he's got damage on the car. Joey comes in as well. That's, well, you can see there's damage on the front of the car. It's obviously more than Andrex feels he can drive with, which is interesting. He had in the closing stages of the race 2 weeks ago, and that was very quick. Maybe he felt he didn't have enough fuel on board. Yeah, I reckon Andrex was under-fueled. Because he's got the same amount of fuel as Marauder does now. Interesting. So either way, whether they were trying to abort and blame or not, that battle is long since done because Marauder is gone. Marauder is coming through turn 10 as Andrex comes out of the pits. That excessively long pit lane. Filter back into turn 1, just behind one of the Corvettes. I think it's just gone past. Yeah. Well, we are in our final 30 minutes now. The field has completely spread out now. That was our last battle, unfortunately. And the yellow Corvettes. Smolder, I guess. Yeah. So that means Smolder is a full lap ahead of Andrex now. So unless Smolder has a connection problem or some kind of major incident, I think it's fair to say that Smolder is going to be outscoring Andrex this time, which has, you know, championship implications. Smolder leading them. Well, implications is the wrong phrase. Andrex was hoping to outscore Smolder, even though he was fairly sure the Corvettes would beat the Aston. But of course, we finish in 2 weeks' time, the final round of the season. Where else could we possibly finish but at Le Mans? And apparently that suits the Aston better. There goes the Porsche. So let's have a quick rundown of our remaining 17 runs. Again, to be fair, we haven't lost any more since our early departees. Yorkie, I suspect, did not expect to be leading the race. Only person on the same lap as Yorkie is his own teammate, one tyre, so their team will score very well. Maximum points, of course, but it's just been really the only people they fought as themselves. Well, the odd mistake here and there, they've had it really easy. Colonel McCoy is in, with a nearly empty tank. I'm not sure whether there are any P2s. 14 left for Atri Aslani. Joey was in not too long ago. Still seeing the 10s. Still seeing the 110s come on the board. See Yorkie. Let's see what his lap time is this time. Let's slipstream off the Corvette. 111.6. 111.1 from Warthog last time. 110.7. 9 tenths to the good for him this time. Endless has got, I think, 2 laps indeed on Nunu. Looking at the time difference, indeed that is 2 laps difference, or near enough. 1 minute 53 between himself and Nunu, so it's not quite 2 laps. 1:15 from Endless, so had some traffic trouble, I suspect. And there is Nunu, which is slightly further ahead on track than where Endless is. You can actually see on the map the white dot that's coming through that chicane at 5 and 6 is Endless. You can see him just at the back of the shot, although he's just mainly headless there. So Endless will be putting a second lap on Nunu. Lama Louie in 5th position. Is only 4 seconds behind Nunu, so there's a potential battle forming there. As Louis gained 1.3 seconds on Nunu last time around. Watch this space. Brzancic is a minute behind Louis, and only 1.6 ahead of Zgarki. There's a battle there for 7th, and that's Joey on the back of M-Power down there in 11th, so Joey won't have too many troubles getting past the Corvette. Less than 24 minutes to go from now. So still quite a few laps to do, but the timer is ticking down. Oh, that was Garki getting very... Oh, slight glitch there. And that's Zgarki getting very, very out of kilter. Well, then Brzancic was a bit out of kilter. Zgarki had to avoid an impact there. Zgarki making his intentions known to Brzancic. Ridley coming into turn 7. Through the twisties. Oh, and Zgarki dumped the battery there. That's how he took off from the mark so quickly. And Brzancic's going to resume the racing line right in front of someone. Right in front of one of the Audis that he'll be under blue flags for. And Brzancic then backs off to let the Audi through. Spud in 8th position, 30 seconds behind Britannic. And Endless is in. He needs fuel. I imagine most of our Audis will need to come in again. When will our Toyotas be in? Well, they'll be in the next 5 laps, I'd have thought. But not for long. I doubt Endless is going to be there for particularly long, but... it'll be about half a tank, I'd have thought. Oh, maybe a full tank. So the the Audis. Let's see how much he takes on. It's around about 50 litres, I think, for the Audis. 45, 50 litres, something like that. So, taking on 36. And that is Endless back underway. And Nunu. Where is... oh, Nunu's... I lost track of where Nunu was for a second there. He's coming around 14. So Endless will be back on track way before Nunu gets close. Louis close to Nunu though. Potential battle for 4th? No, because Louis got a near full tank. And Nunu won't have enough to get to the end of the race, or he'll have to do some serious fuel saving if he wants to make that last. Whereas our lead Toyotas will definitely have to come in. Ain't no way you're getting 10 litres to do another 20 minutes worth of racing. Not even close. Kenna McCoy leads by 3 minutes over Astrid Aslani. As Kenna McCoy's had very little to worry about in this race. And Aslani is 1:51 ahead of Joey. But continue they do. And again, credit to you guys for continuing in what's been a pretty lonely race for those guys. And the GTEs have been pretty spread out for a long time. M-Power has just been utterly dominant in this race, as was predicted, really. If M-Power had been with us at the beginning of the season, oh, what might have been? He's won everything. He's won every round since he's joined in the GTE class. Smolder, 30 seconds behind M-Power, 37 seconds ahead of Marauder. Again, position-wise, pretty lonely for him. Marauder, with Andrex's last pit stop, finds himself 40 seconds ahead of the Aston. There is Andrex in 4th position, equidistant between himself and his teammate. There is Crop, 40 seconds behind Andrex, 9 seconds ahead of Beppo. That is your remaining 17 drivers, and Louis is within a second of Nunu, so we've got a battle on our hands for 4th. There are the 2 Audis with either Beppo or Smolder directly ahead of them. Oh, steady. That was close. Well, it looked close from here. Whether it felt close to our drivers, I honestly don't know. Less than 20 minutes to go. About 17 laps or so, give or take. It'll be interesting to whether we will hit the 100 lap mark. Lama Louis closing in on Nunu, gained a full second, near enough last time. It's fairly academic, so I think Nunu's going to come into the pits anyway. Well, possibly. Or you'll have to fuel save. That's big twitch actually from both Nunu and Lama Louis there when coming out of turn 4. That's cost Louis some momentum. Couldn't see who that was. It was one of the Astons. Andrex or Crop. Caught them at a pretty convenient time for Louis, because he'll just blast past Aston on the outside, but that's actually helped him close in on Nunu. Nunu was caught out rather. So we're coming up to turn 10. That's when he got stuck behind the Aston. There we go. Louis now, nearly pushing the Audi through. At turn 13. Is Nunu going to defend? No, it doesn't look like he's willing to let him go. Wow. That just shows the difference in deployment. Nunu obviously had a bit more in the tank to try and deploy to defend against Louis as Asterix comes in with 1.4 left in the tank. So it'll be a pretty short stop for him. Louis then on the back of Nunu, just 2 tenths separates them. He's going for a smoother run through the chicane, going to dump the battery. Nunu was a little bit quicker to get the deployment done, but of course it depends how viciously they deploy. They have to get the Curse deployment down. Some people may choose for a shorter, more aggressive deployment. Some people may choose to kind of stretch it out a bit longer. Personal preference. Oh, and Louis was a little tight to the apex for 10. He comes past Empower and that distinctive blue Corvette. It's going to take a big move, I think, from Louis. No sooner do I say that. It looks like he was having a look on the inside of 12. Oh, and jumps on the inside of 13 instead. Wow. It didn't pay off, though. I think he had a bit of a squirt of Kurz there to try and get alongside his Audi compatriot. There's Marauder. And again, Nunu, well defended, remains in 4th. This battle's got some legs to go, I suspect. And also, Warntire is closing back in on Yorkie, so the battle for the lead may not yet be resolved. Louis gets a little bit shaky coming through 1 and 2. It's closed back in on Nunu. Here we go again. And there's that different deployment again. I get the feeling Nunu's got a much more aggressive Kurz deployment going on in his car. It dumps much faster, but doesn't last anywhere near as long. It seems to be working for him. It's certainly helping keeping Lama Louis at bay. Again, Warntire's actually gained another 8 tenths on Yorkie. There's only 4 seconds between the two, so we may have a lead battle between the two Toyotas yet to resolve. And again, Lama Louis thinking about an inside move, coming through 13. Doesn't quite get alongside him. And whack, there goes. That's just how effective the Kurz deployment is. And then Louis reels Nunu back in the twisty bits again. So this is essentially exactly what we saw with Andrex and Marauder. This time it's the same car, different setups, of course, different drivers. Different drivers, that's a fairly obvious point. No one can drive 2 cars at the same time, don't care how good you are. And now Nunu's going to run off because he's got, his battery seems to dump faster than Louis does. They've got, I can't see who that is ahead of them. It's one of the LMP2s. So, who is that? That had to have been Astrid Aslani. Oh, it might have been Joey. Joey's car's black. Yeah, that's true. Because, of course, Astrid Aslani's car's red. There's a pair of LMPs coming up behind. Once again, Louis just unable to overhaul Nunu at the point where it's most advantageous for him. Once again, Nunu just getting the power down to the tarmac to keep Louis behind him. Less than 15 minutes remain of this 2-hour race here at the Indy Road Course. Oh, Louis getting very out of shape coming through turn 2 and side by side with Nunu. It had to take a big move like that. He's got it done, but can he get away? That's going to be the big thing. Warntire is in from 2nd position. Oh, Nunu was not happy about that. But Nunu's not got a lot of fuel left. And actually, he's back up into 4th. It looked like Louis actually let him through there. Wasn't an impact there, so I'm a little surprised by that. Nunu was not best pleased with that sequence of events, which it looked fairly okay to me, unless there was impact slightly off camera that we didn't see. Again, Louis looking to get alongside Nunu. Not happening yet. Nunu may just about have enough fuel to get to the end. Oh no, that's gone wrong. On the exit of the last turn, the tail just let go on Nunu's car, and that spelled an end of that particular battle. That's a shame, because that one looked like he was going to go on for some time. But alas, no. Nunu's lost that spot to Louis to the tune of about 3 seconds now. As Yorkie brings his car in. Oh, that was close. 0.7 of a litre. You better hope your guys remember to fuel you up. That's always the problem. If there's a mistake in the pit stop and you don't have enough fuel to do another lap, you've thrown the race away. But we will see. How much fuel does he take on? I was watching the fuel gauge there thinking, please take some on. Just 18 litres would be plenty enough to get to the end of, I thought. 19.5 for less than 12 minutes of racing to go. One tyre coming around that last turn. You just about see him coming into the shop. He's got a lot of traffic around him. There's Yorkie. Yorkie out of the pit lane limiter will resume the lead by a good few seconds. And Nunu and Louis are back in battle again. Louis had managed to get away from Nunu a little bit, but with that traffic, that's helped condense them back up again. Oh, that's wide for Nunu. There's Astrid Aslani. Through 4 and 5. And Louis back along the road by 2 seconds. So Nunu is there or thereabouts, but it will take a mistake or Louis getting held up for that battle to resume. Has Beppo got some company? He does! Beppo's been minding his own business at the back of the field all race long. Now he has company. Both of them have plenty enough fuel to get to the end of the race. The Corvette on the back of the second Aston. And Beppo was 1.3 quicker last time around. The weather crops got damage on that car that he's never seen to. It looks fairly okay. The windscreen is intact. That's usually the big giveaway. Anytime there's a Corvette nearby, you cannot hear anything else, which I am not complaining about. I can't get enough of that beautiful American muscle in the form of the roaring Corvette. The Aston makes a beautiful noise. The M6 makes a beautiful noise. Just the Corvette makes the king of the noise, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, Beppo a little bit deep coming into turn 7. Keeps it consistent. Less than 10 minutes remain. 4.5 seconds is the lead between Warntire and Yorkie. That's one of them actually coming through. That is the race leader, Yorkie. He's just come past the pair of GTEs we've been watching. Still Beppo pressuring the back of the Aston of Crop. Nunu is trying his best to hang on to the back of Lou, but there's Mamadou gone himself another half a second. So again, will take a mistake or Lama being held up by some description. There goes Worn Tyre in the second place Toyota, but that's put Crop slightly offline. Is this an opportunity for Beppo to get off the bottom of the table? Oops, a little twitchy coming through turn 4. And Brzezinski is in. 2 litres left in the Porsche. That's one of the Audis weaving there, either to let the Corvette know he's there or to get some heat in the tyres. Either is possible. Nunu gained half a second on Louis last time around, so that battle may not necessarily be concluded yet. Well, that is the battle we were just looking at. That is... Oh, and the LMP got himself really wedged in there. Through turn 12 once again. Into 13. An interesting line there by Crop. Beppo's had the pace to do something about it. Still sporting that damage. Well, visually anyway, he may have had that fixed ages ago. Oh, Beppo only a couple of tenths quicker than Crop. Only half a second separates them. Less than 8 minutes to go. Walkie and Yawn Tyre in this. Walkie and Yawn Tyre. That's. I said Walkie already. I'm not sure I said Yawn Tyre before. That was not at all what I meant to say. Yorkie and Yawn Tyre, and he said it again. Within the same tenth of a second, just 43,000 separating those two. Here we go again. Crop demonstrating that straight line advantage that the Aston seems to have that negates any kind of slipstream that any other GTE might get. Through 7, 8, 9, up to 10. 7 minutes to go. Nunu is staying in contention with Lama Louie. Although he lost 1.2 seconds in the previous lap, he is still hovering there. 14.5 for Louie, 12.8 for Nunu. Gained a big old chunk of time there, nearly 2 full seconds. Beppo still on the back of Crop. It's gonna take a big move, same as we saw previously with Hendricks and Marauder. And Crop is not feeling comfortable to try and... Oh, that was interesting. He looked like he was going to go for the defensive line and then returned to the racing line. That was a bit of an unusual one. Both of them 23.7. Beppo ever so slightly quicker by 41 thousandths. Into turn 4. This is not the advantage of the Corvette here. Where's Nunu in relation to Lama Louie? That's around about a second there. They are less than 6 minutes to go. Oh, that's Marauder. That's going to squash these two up because Lama Louie had to get out of that. Otherwise, he's going to pine in the back of the M6. Side by side, indeed, the M6 and the lead of these two Audis. That's helping Nunu keep up. And he's gaining. And there he goes. And he has got Nunu's back up into 4th. Louie just getting caught up with the traffic there. See if we can look on the inside at turn 1. Not quite. Oh, Nunu was slow. Nunu was very slow coming through turn 2. And wow. Look at that. Oh, bit of door banging going on between the two. Nunu not happy about that. And indeed, Louie letting him back through. Nunu didn't feel that, and a flash of thank you back to Lama Louie, but don't assume that battle's done. How's Beppo doing? Oh, look at that, just like jump back to Crop and Beppo. They've swapped position down there at turn 3, well, turns 2 and 3. Aston is going to have the straight line speed advantage. Looks like Louie's lost the back of Nunu for now. 4.5 minutes to go. Here comes the Aston of Crop. This was nothing more than bragging rights, really. Oh, and Crop's overdone it. He caught the apex of turn 7 pretty hard and just totally threw the balance of the car off. And that is that battle between himself and Beppo done. Let's jump back to then the battle for 4th. Nunu leads Lama Louie by a second. Less than 4 minutes to go. I don't think we're going to quite hit the 100 lap mark, but we're going to be close. Don't think we'll quite hit it. Streaming on down to turn 7 for these two. Lama Louie piling the pressure on once again. Bear in mind, these guys have been going for over 2.25 hours now, including the qualifying, and Nunu getting very out of shape. Louie looking at the outside move through turn 10. He can't hang on to it. Turn 11's too long for that. He's going to dive on the inside. There he goes. Positions himself. Makes the move. And well defended by Nunu there. Oh, and again, Lama Louie pushing Nunu through 13. Side by side again. Where's Nunu? You can't really see him in that particular picture. There he is. As Nunu dumped the battery. It's back up into 4th place. Here we go again, through turn 1. Oh, again, Nunu seems so slow through that particular section compared to Louis. Through 4. Quick chicane of 5 and 6. Once again, Nunu using his deployment to defend. Louis just gaining back through the twisty bits. Less than 2 minutes to go. We definitely are not going to get to lap 100. Well, not quite. Oh, and there went Nunu. Lulu did well. Lulu, for goodness sake, I'm mixing everybody's names now. Llama Louis did well to not slam into the back of Nunu there. Just the tail let go. 2 minutes to go. 3.5 seconds or 4 seconds the lead. Yorkie to Worn Tyre. That's one of the back markers ahead of Nunu there. That battle's not resolved yet. Into turn 1 yet again. 90 seconds to go before the checkered flag falls. Where is Yorkie? He is coming through at turn 11. He'll beat the flag quite comfortably. Through 5 and 6 again. Llama Louis is back behind Nunu again. So Louis had his own problem because he's 2.5 seconds behind. So that battle might have resolved itself by now. As we looked away. Llama Louis now 3 seconds behind Nunu. But anything can happen in the closing stages. Race leader Yorkie has led for the vast majority of the race. He will not beat the flag this time around. 30 seconds. He leads by 3.5 seconds. This will be his second win of the season. To solidify, or even to take the lead, I think, at the top of the table for the LMP1s. But it's certainly put him right up there. There's only 10 points spread between 1st and 5th, Yorkie being 5th. No, what might have been is Yorkie missed a couple of rounds. If it wasn't for those, he'd be there. And Yawn, I did it again, Worn Tyre. There's Worn Tyre right with him. So they're going to come across the line, but the checker flag is out. Your winner here at Indy Road is going to be Yorkie for the Toyota team with his teammate in very short succession. Worn Tyre takes that second spot. Oh, that's a very battered Audi there. Endless was a lap down. Was down in last. Battled his way back up to 3rd. He will take that final podium position. Where is everybody else? Of course, it's difficult to track everybody else. Our winner of the LMP2s, we barely looked at anyone in the LMP2 class, is Colonel McCoy. Asri Aslani will take 2nd. And already over the line is Joey in 3rd. Then our GTE lead has been this man and will be this man. He could come over the line backwards from there and still take the win. But it is going to be the Corvette, the blue roaring Corvette of BMW M Power. A dominant win. And Smolder is indeed already over the line. So, by a full lap at least. No one on the same lap as M Power. And Endless has very little car left. And that is everybody. So, your confirmed finishing order. Yorkie takes the win from Worn Tyre 2nd, Endless 3rd, Nunu 4th, Llama Louis 5, Skarky 6, Spudbuster 7, and Brzezinski in 8th. Your LMP2s, Colonel McCoy, What's Happened, Joey. On your GTE, BMW, M Power, Smolder, Marauder, Andrex, Beppo, and Crop. I doubt the penalties did anything to adjust the positions. Spudbusters perhaps, but no one else. Oh, wow. I think it is only fair that we see who wants to talk to us. Ah, yes, we have people making themselves ready, making themselves available to have a chatter. I think it's only fair that we do so. I don't always do this for the Endurance League because they've been going so long, but actually we have quite a few people. Let's drag them over. And yet again, they've all been very quiet and spoiling my fun when I drag them over. Well, who do I talk to first? All of you have some amazing story. Colonel McCoy, it must have been pretty lonely for you in the LMP2s. How was it for you?
Yeah, unfortunately it was. No, it was nice to be overtaken by the LMPH and have some work to do on the GTs, but yeah, the LMP2 class was no work today.
I mean, how were you feeling ahead of today's race?
Unfortunately not so good, because I missed about 3 or 4 races, so I won't be able to contest in the next races probably. I was just hoping for a nice contest with Jenny today, and I will hope for that as well for the next race. Just have a nice battle, and that's it.
Fair enough. Great job. Well done. Well, 2 people we were watching battle for quite some time, and I'm intrigued to hear what they have to say. Let's come over to 5th place, Llama Louie.
Oh, there we go. Oh my god.
Bit tired, aren't we?
Just a bit.
You had a lot of pressure on you towards the tail end of that race. How was that for you?
I honestly thought that, because I know I underestimated pit stop, and I just thought when I had to do my last pit stop, I thought my tyres are almost worn, so I did a full reset, and I just thought, but Nunu was in before me, so I just had in my mind that Nunu had to pit, and then when he didn't, it was, that was some great battle, honestly.
Yeah, we watched quite a lot of that particular battle. Over to you, Nunu. It looked like, am I right in saying that your Kers deployment just looked much more savage than possibly what Louis was running? It looked like every time you hit your Kers, you just took off.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was like from the straight. I don't know what happened, but it was, yeah, exactly. But at the end, I just have to know that the tires. I don't know if anyone else had these issues, but I just couldn't get any heat into these tires.
Yeah, we saw quite a few people weaving in a straight line.
Yeah, exactly, because the tires were dead. Mine were literally hitting like absolutely blue. It was absolutely insane. And about the DRS, I don't know. I don't know what you are talking about. Maybe I just have a more.
Was you running the Le Mans Audi or the Fuji?
Oh, I was in the Le Mans.
That's why.
Ah, that's why. I see.
So it did look like you had like a bomb go off every time you opened your Kers, because you just took off down the straight each time. But great effort, well done. It was a great battle to watch.
Yeah, it was. I was freaking out inside.
Another man having a great battle at various points. Our lead Aston, Mr. Andrex, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. I don't know. Yeah, last week I built the car and it felt alright. I learned something tonight that you can have too much understeer. I never thought that was possible. I like understeer, but yeah, the thing wouldn't turn. The brakes were decidedly under average. I was really having to fight the car. The temperatures were fine, tyre wear was okay, but the car just wasn't working at all.
That sounds very much like the wacky video we did yesterday where you had that strange Honda. Are you sure you were driving the right car?
I felt it was like the GT3. I had to check that I didn't have it on 4 classes and I had taken the GT3 asking, because it was just, yeah, it had decent top end, it had low downforce, so I had the top end over Marauder's M6, but it was doing nothing for me. It wasn't working, and then for some reason my pit underfueled me.
Yeah, I did see you come in for a splash.
Extra. Yeah, that wasn't an ideal race, but the only saving grace was that there was only 6 GTEs, so a decidedly average race still brings in a 4th place. So I think Smolder's slowly edging away, but so unless he has a bad race at Le Mans in the final race, then I don't think there's really any chance to catch the Corvette there either. But well, anything can happen, I guess. But I've got no pressure on myself anymore at all, so we'll see what happens. But,
We
it's
will.
okay.
We will indeed. Great effort. Well done. And finally, our race winner, Yorkie. Well, early on, it looked like you were going to have some... Yeah, you wasn't going to go your own way, and then Endless had a problem. Lucas vanished, and then you and Warntide just ran off.
Yeah, I was a little bit gutted that Endless had the spin in front of me. I saw he dropped a few positions from it, but I didn't see quite how far back and what happened to him. So I think, judging by the first few laps, we probably would have had quite a titanic battle for the majority of the race. And then I had the slight mistake in front of Lucas, which gave him the position, and then he kind of, it looked like he spun in front of me, but all of a sudden he wasn't there anymore at all. So I'm assuming he dropped out. So I was kind of just focusing on just running my pace essentially and just driving clean till around about lap 20. That's when I realized that Endless was still in it. I thought Endless may have dropped somewhere because he completely dropped off of my leaderboard. I had no idea where he was or if he was still in the session. So around lap 20 I started to push and pick up the pace a little bit more, but not so much that I was risking doing anything stupid.
Well, you just through pure consistency, you really did bring that one home. You were under a lot of pressure from your teammate for a while. Were there any team orders going on, or was it just push and push and push and push and push?
We haven't discussed anything since the second race, I think it was. But we had a bit of a battle at Daytona. We said after that, if either of the other one wants past and knows that they're definitely faster, then to flash the lights. I was keeping an eye on him behind me. I didn't see him flash the lights at me. He flashed at like 1 or 2 back markers, but he didn't flash the lights at me, so I just kind of tried to keep my eyes looking forward. There was a couple of times where he was setting better and more consistent lap times, and then just the ebbs and flow of traffic, you get lucky, you don't get lucky. Gaps form, gaps close. So yeah, it was quite nice kind of trying to gap battle him a little bit. I knew that kind of towards the end of the stints as the tyres were wearing down a little bit more. I think I had a little bit more pace than he did, but there were certainly times during the stint where he was quicker and we were about even as well.
Brilliant stuff. Well done. Second race of the season. So it's going to really all come down to Le Mans. What a great way to finish the season off. It's going to be in 2 weeks' time. We will be back for the season finale. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream. A great pleasure to have you with us throughout. Thank you very much to our drivers for putting on a great show. A great pleasure to commentate for you. And we will be back next time for more AOR action. Thank you very much. And good night.